All right, welcome back to the Carton Show. Obviously, the breaking news just a few moments ago. Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots expected to part ways after 24 years, 6 Super Bowl titles. And the reverberations around the league are significant because any coach that got the public vote of confidence from his owner 24 hours ago no longer has it.
Yeah. Eberflus loose.
Yeah.
The Flus is loose.
Yeah, Jacoby asked an interesting question going into the break about whether or not, you're welcome, whether or not Bill Belichick's lost his fastball, missed the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years. And I think you have to separate the executive Bill Belichick and the coach because the New England Patriots do not have all that much talent, period, stop. And 2 years ago, he did take him to the playoffs. Yeah. And I know they got blown out by the Buffalo Bills. He took a bad football team to the playoffs. If you watch New England, as we do as Jet fans, and obviously being in the Northeast, we have an interest in what they do, they had a terrible year record-wise. That team still plays solid defense.
Absolutely.
That team doesn't get blown out a lot. Couple games, yes. Yeah. They went out there and embarrassed themselves. But that team still competes. That team has always created problems for the opponent. And I think sometimes because he's made himself an unlikable guy, because of the press conferences, because of the him versus Tom Brady nonsense, and then Tom, of course, wins the Super Bowl without him. So we're going to try to change the narrative about was it the chicken or the egg or the chicken, Brady, Belichick, back and forth. I think sometimes we lose sight of just how good a game day coach he is. And as much as I dislike him, I've watched damn near every Patriot game for the last 20 years from a Jet fan perspective. And I would tell you today, maybe there are 2 coaches in the same pool as Bill Belichick in regards to being a game day coach.
Yeah, look, like when you talk about the fastball being removed and has he lost it, I say no. All of what you just talked about, he did this without his best pass rusher, his best player in the secondary, and they still were a viable defense. I know they had struggles offensively. There was relationship gap even when it comes to the quarterback and head coach relationship. You can insert a coach that can bridge that gap. And if you already have the quarterback, you're good there. So for me, I don't know if there's 6 coaching opportunities or 6 teams that are safe. I don't care who you are as far as the head coach of this league. If you're not Andy Reid, if you're not, name another one.
I can make the argument that Shanahan's not safe.
I just don't know because you have such, at the end of the day, this league, regardless, forget players for a second, owners want to win. Right. It's about winning. If you are saying to your fan base, who brings us the best option to win or opportunity to win? It's that guy right there.
Well, let me just add that to it because people are going to start talking about jobs that we didn't think were available that now might be available because he's ready now and he's a free agent as a head coach. And I know we all have the utmost respect for Shanahan out there in San Francisco, but he's got more talent than any coach in the league. Right. If San Fran doesn't get to the Super Bowl, I think that would be the line for them. Let's say San Fran gets upset. Dallas beats him, Philly beats him, however it plays itself out. And you've got all that talent and a young, kind of like Tom Brady guy in Brock Purdy. If I own San Francisco, all due respect to Shanahan, who's built this perennial monster out there in the NFC West, I could get Bill Belichick.
So, can I just be the guy that does this? I'm gonna be here and be like, I don't know if this is the Michael Jordan we're talking about. I can't separate the coach from the executive. He is the guy that said last year, you know who's going to be my offensive coordinator? Matt Patricia and Joe Judge.
You're right.
He's the guy who had drafted all those players that do not play on Sunday. He's the guy that he spent the most money in free agency he's ever spent in his entire career, and the next year did not make the playoffs. So the decisions that he's made, you would say, he gives you the best opportunity to win. That's what I've heard both of you say. Guess what? He hasn't won for 4 years.
Forever.
I don't think he's what you think he is.
And you talk about his fastball, right?
Yeah.
His fastball was being able to get no-name guys, and for those guys to develop and become New England Patriots. Who are these guys? Name one guy that's
Post-Tom Brady.
Post-Tom Brady, that's the star on his team. Nobody. On top of that, let me finish.
Yeah.
On top of the division, the Buffalo Bills, Dolphins are way ahead of the New England Patriots. It's a regression. You got to be able to keep up with the league. He has yet to do that.
Look, that happens with success, though, right? It happens after 2 decades of success, and you guys want to just, conveniently eliminate the fact that they no longer have a top 20 quarterback. What coach is going to win a Super Bowl when you've got the 30th best quarterback in football?
He picked that quarterback.
Again,
and he stuck with that quarterback. Those are his decisions.
There is the coach,
yeah,
and there is the general manager.
It's the same brain.
It is not. It is the coach. He's the best.
He wears
game day.
both titles. He wore both titles.
I want to be very clear, since apparently I'm not speaking English today. All right, or your ears are not hearing me. I'm not hiring Bill Belichick to be an executive or a general manager or a team president. And as much as I dislike the guy, I promise the audience I would never lie to them. This is still, and I don't think it's close, the best game day coach in the NFL. I don't hire him to run the draft. I don't hire him to sign free agents. I hire him to coach the 53 guys that I'm giving him.
So my pushback, why is he getting fired?
He's not. 24 years is a long time. 300-plus wins is second only to Don Shula. And like everyone else, whether it's Michael Jordan going to the Wizards or anyone else moving from a successful situation, all jobs change eventually.
And I would push back on with you guys and ask the question of, I'll look at you, Jacoby, because you're a Bills fan.
I can't look at you in that sweater, sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Well, I'm going to look at you.
Okay.
You're telling me that if the Bills go out this weekend to the Steelers, and you're a Bills fan, a lifer, you're all in on them.
Yep.
Bill Belichick wouldn't be on your radar?
No, thank you.
That's crazy talk.
No,
Crazy talk.
No, thank you.
It's not.
It
No,
is.
thank you.
It's not.
Like,
No, thank you.
Sean McDermott's never taken the Bills to a Super
Exactly.
Bowl, let alone win
When's
6
the last
of them.
time Bill's been to one?
He was in the playoffs 2 years ago.
Yeah,
In the playoffs. He's in the playoffs for like an
into the
hour and a
playoffs.
half. He was in the playoffs.
I hate Bill Belichick more than all of you guys combined.
Then why are you supporting him?
so then why
Because
we acting
I
like-
respect greatness. And as much as I dislike the guy, and I hate the fact that he's a bully, and the way he does his press conferences, he is the best coach in the history of the NFL.
But it's about
Period. Stop.
It's not about
Put him
what
in
you've done. It's
Canton,
about what you can do. And what he can do right now is not win football team, won't win football
He's
games,
got a
and
bad
develop
team.
a team.
You know he's got a
He
bad
built
team.
a bad team.
Again,
He built that team.
and
He
guys
wouldn't
aren't-
be, your point,
Yes.
maybe if I say it.
Please.
His point is, he wouldn't be building the next team that he goes to.
But
Why-
then
why
my
can't
point
you guys
is-
separate those
But
two
my
things?
point is, if that's the case,
Yeah.
why is he leaving? Because he's already been told that out of his mouth, he's willing to take on somebody to be the
Because,
GM.
well, you guys know, it's like anything else, there comes a time where, the street comes to an end. All right, 24 years in one place, by the way, is unheard of, especially in today's sports, right? It's time for them to have a fresh change. It's time for him to have a fresh change. You have to separate the executive and personnel decisions from whether or not you think he's a good coach. And I would tell you right now, I know your Bills fandom has been in question this year, but right now you're all in. So all good for me on that. Sean McDermott's never done a damn thing.
No.
That's not true.
Is that
No,
it's not?
that's not. You cannot
It's
say
not.
that. And I listen, I hate the hat.
Yeah.
But my point is, Buffalo Bills has emerged since Josh Allen over the last 4
Yeah.
years. They are always in contention to win a Super Bowl. Had they
Is that
got there?
right?
No.
In contention, Cincinnati Bengals went to Orchard Park last year
And beat them up.
slapped them.
But it's good to be I'd rather be in the division round competing than not having a shot at all like the New England Patriots.
Whoa. So the Dallas Cowboys
Yeah.
have an issue because they can't get past the division round, but the Buffalo Bills don't. And
I don't.
And so when you look at the Buffalo Bills, we've seen Joe Burrow come in, AFC Championship game, and Super Bowl appearance.
Okay.
Obviously, Patrick Mahomes dominates. Why are we unwilling to admit that Sean McDermott may not be the guy to get them over the hump? It's not that he's a bad coach, but he can't get them over. He has not got them over the hump.
They're in the playoffs. They beat
So
the
that's
Dolphins at
enough.
home. Yeah, when we're talking about the greatest coach of all time, when has the standard dropped?
Dude,
Like
the
you talk
Buffalo
about-
Bills have now won 4 consecutive AFC championships, and they've never sniffed the Super Bowl.
And this is bad. You almost make me want to root against the Buffalo Bills.
You should. You root against everything else.
Just to see if your tone changes
By the way,
after this week.
I'm being told that there will be a press conference today at 12 at noon Eastern time where Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick are having some type of, press conference to discuss it. They're leaving as friends. Obviously, the great career he had in New England, and it's time to move on. And I'm telling you right now, if I'm San Francisco, I add them to the list.
No.
If they get eliminated early.
No
If I'm
chance.
Dallas. If I'm Philly. If I'm a million teams out there, this guy's better than every coach in the league, and I don't even like the guy.
We see
You
Michael Jordan.
have a traumatic experience with him.
Yeah.
There's something about
It's
him.
something about
he
him.
owns you because your team has lost him so many times that you're completely delusional about his current abilities.
Yeah, but we've seen Michael Jordan in a Wizard uniform, right? It's ugly.
Yes.
We do not want to see this
That's
man
what you're getting.
as
This
another
is-
head coach.
this is Patrick
He should
Ewing
go
on the
down
Sonics.
and be done with it. Bill Belichick should either die or live with the New England Patriots. Bottom line.
Why?
Why? Because he can't do anything else. Why do you want to see an act? First of all, he was horrible with the Browns. The Jets was a disaster. His only,
The 6 Super Bowls is
Right.
only.
That's only-
that hasn't happened.
All he did was win 6 championships. All he did was go to 9 of
Makes
them.
no sense.
There's only been 57 Super
I think
Bowls.
you guys are rested on his laurels, and it's over.
Well, hold
it's
on.
over.
What else do you rest on?
How about now? The last 3 years, he's done nothing.
Just for the record, I introduce Greg every morning as what? Green Bay Packer Hall of Famer,
Sure.
Super Bowl champion. I introduce you every morning
As the God,
what?
Willie Cologne, the King
God.
of New York,
King.
Super Bowl
Yeah,
champ,
Super Bowl
him.
champion.
The big him.
Why do you rest on your laurels?
Because you allow us to, right? But when you talk about
Because you did it.
I get that, but my point is, what we've seen thus far, he has yet to produce. So my point is, why am I going to keep talking about the glory years when we're living in the present?
Okay.
I got a question
Take
for
it
you
over.
really quick. We both love Mike Tomlin. We
Yes.
both understand how valuable he's been and what he's been able to do has been remarkable.
Yes.
No losing seasons.
17 years.
All that.
Yep.
Mike Tomlin, how do you feel about him?
He's the greatest coach of all time.
And so if Mike Tomlin, do you think Mike Tomlin has lost his fastball?
No, his team is playing the Bills in the playoffs. New England is not.
Okay. So a couple years ago, Bill Belichick had a team in the postseason. And were we saying that he had lost his fastball then? And so Mike Tomlin didn't make the playoffs last year. Were you
Right.
saying he had lost his fastball?
No.
Why not?
Well, I'm telling you not, because he's going to the playoffs right now. He hasn't had a losing season. It's all about the present.
Mike Tomlin
not the
didn't
past.
hire his 2 sons to be on
you
the
have to
coaching
take that
staff.
out. We're not talking about an executive.
No,
We're
he's
talking
the
about
same
coach.
brain. It's the exact same brain. It's the
You
same
can't
man.
separate
You
the
can't
brains. You
separate
wear
the
both
two.
titles.
You
Yeah.
can't separate the two.
The general manager is not deciding what to do on 3rd and long in the 4th quarter of a game. The head coach is. And you lose the argument when you keep going down the road of he's a bad executive. I don't disagree. We all acknowledge that. The point is, I'm not hiring him for the 12th time to be an executive. I'm hiring him because he's the best game day coach in the history
do you think he's
of the
willing to do
NFL.
that?
Yes, he said it 2 days ago.
Exactly.
That he's willing to do it.
Then why leave?
One of the worst offenses in the entire NFL
Yes.
was from that brain. And it's not the executive side, that's the head coach. One of the worst offenses in the league came from that brain. And you want to hire him, and you're gonna replace Mike Shanahan or Kyle Shanahan with
matter of fact, the more I think about it, I think there might only be 2 teams in the entire league that wouldn't now have a meeting amongst their executive staff about whether or not I bring
Tomlin,
in
Harbaugh,
Bill
Shanahan,
Belichick.
McDaniel.
By the way, if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I consider it too.
No chance.
Right?
This is
If I'm the
crazy talk.
Steelers,
Craig, this is
if I'm
crazy
San
talk.
Francisco, if
No,
I'm Dallas, if I'm Philly, everyone
You pretty much
except for
say
maybe
everybody.
Kansas City.
No.
Andy Reid's the only coach that's safe right now.
No.
That's maybe the Baltimore Ravens, possibly, but let's see what they do in the playoffs this year. So the good news, though, is that the one team outside of Kansas City that has announced already this morning they have zero interest in bringing in the greatest coach of all time are the New York Jets. So we have that going for us. But look, folks, it is a celebration.
we got another one.
That was weak.
That wasn't good. Yeah.
That was like me last night. I tried, but it just didn't happen the way I wanted it to. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.